So officially, good afternoon and welcome to our second lesson, guys. In the last class, we were discussing about teaching styles, and now this topic has to do with teaching styles, but we're gonna focus in two ways. We're gonna study traditional versus modern education, okay? Traditional versus modern education, okay? So we're going to start by reading our introduction, and it says this way. During this week, we're going to study the characteristic of traditional and modern teaching. We will learn the differences and we are going to reflect on the way you want to teach in the future by analyzing their most relevant advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so my objective for this class is that you're gonna be able to differentiate, and to reflect about what kind of teacher you want to be in the future. I asked this question in the last video conference, and it is pretty interesting that most of you have really, really good opinions about how you want to be. So I'm pretty sure that in the future we're going to have great teachers, well, at least great English teachers. So here we have three aspects. Number one, you're going to think about the important aspects of traditional and modern education, right? Well, here we have a question. What do you know about teaching style? And take the good parts of each method and analyze the most relevant aspects, right? This is like the reflection part. Now, I would like to focus your attention on this question. What do you know about teaching styles? In the last class, we were discussing about teaching styles, okay? So, can anybody tell me something about teaching styles? Can anybody like just remember and say something about that? Or if you were not in the class, just give your opinions about what you think about teaching styles. Why are they important? Anybody?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, what I know about teaching styles, according to the last week, is there are specific characteristics who made a teacher unique, and their beliefs, their skills, and how they teach their students, the abilities, and the methods that every single teacher use, because we know there are a lot of type of styles.
Yes.
The teaching styles are different, and the way that we can teach is
Yes.
Don Francisco Meléndez está Francisco Meléndez. Ah, excelente, que tengo que pegar en locutora.
Lily, did you finish? Hello?
yes, yes.
Oh, well, okay. Thank you. I thought you had a different idea and then you had a problem with the audio. Thank you very much for sharing. Somebody else?
I wasn't in the class the last time, but what I understand is that the teaching style is defined by the characteristics, the way that the teacher gives or transmits the knowledge to students. Also, this also defined by I think, the activities or that the way that he makes the evaluation and the activities to evaluate the students.
Excellent. Alban, you were going to say something.
Okay, so according to my, well, I didn't
attend.
Well, exactly. We can find different kind of teachers, different styles, for example, such as, according to my experience, it is different. Well, every one of us has a different. We remember in a different way how teachers worked with us. For example, had a teacher that were teaching, for example, math. Sometimes some of us, not all people, do the same thing. I
Yes.
remember a teacher math who was a negative person. I don't know. I have some of them, but not all. And it is different. For example, when we see teachers that work with children, it is different the way they work. For example, those teachers teach by learning. Learning is by doing.
Yeah.
It is different. So the thing is we can find different styles of teaching
Okay.
in this area of education.
Excellent, Alban. Thank you for giving your opinion. Miguel, you were going to say something.
Yes, Mr. I want to share something. It's I consider that you can adapt your teaching style according to the topic you're going to teach and according to the kind of student you have. That's my opinion about it.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for all your opinions. They were great. Thanks for participating. Um, in the last class, we were talking about 5 teaching styles. Do you remember then? We were mentioning authority, delegator. What else?
Demonstrator.
Demonstrator. What else?
Facilitator.
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 Facilitator. No, no worries. A lot of students have problems with that word, and some teachers as well. Facilitator. Repeat.
Facilitator.
There you got it.
Facilitator.
Facilitator. You're genius. And there was one last one. Do you remember which one?
Hybrid.
The hybrid. Yeah. And exactly. I mentioned it that I told you that I wanted to get that right. The hybrid method. You know, I like that one. And it's according to the theory, it is recommended for English teacher. You know. Okay, Lily, you wanted to say something? Lily? Lily Martinez? Your hands up.
No, teacher. No.
Oh, maybe that's a mistake then. Okay, no worries. Chicos, hay un icono para levantar la manita para cuando quieran dar su opinión. Es una muy buena idea, ¿verdad? Para no hablar al mismo tiempo. Entonces, a mí cuando ustedes le dan clic, me aparece la manita levantada. Eso me da una señal de que quieren opinar. Así que cuando quieran hacer uso de ella, yo perfectamente entiendo. So, let's continue. Now, guys, for the next activity, we're going to have a discussion, okay? Now, we're going to discuss these 2 questions. First, even if you don't know what it is, I want you to give your ideas, okay? For example, question number 1 says, how would you define traditional education? Probably you don't know a very specific concept, but you probably know traditional education. And then we have question number 2. How would you define modern education, right? So for this activity, we are going to be divided into groups, small groups, and then you're gonna be discussing, okay? We are 16, so we're probably gonna be working in maybe in trios or maybe in group of 4. So we're gonna see. So in a couple of minutes, you will receive an invitation and then you will join those groups. So click on accept, okay? And start discussing. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes for discussing, okay? So I'm going to start assigning people. And the good thing about this is that you don't know who you're working with, okay? So you're gonna get to know people. And that's good, you know, because when you start talking to others, then you get a better idea, you know, about any topic, you know. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. Okay. Go on.
Hello.
how do you think about the first question? That is, how do you define or what do you think about traditional education?
I think that traditional education is when only the teachers is who generate the information and the students only listen and receive the information, and they don't like give their opinion about the topics. I think that that's the main point of that kind of education.
That's right. You're right. I think similarly, it is focused on teachers, so students have to pay attention only to the
Yeah.
teacher. The teacher all.
Okay, so well, in my case, what I think about the traditional education, according with what had studied before, the traditional education has to relation with the teacher is just given the classes and the students doesn't have the chance to participate or give opinions. But in the modern education, students can participate. They had the chance to create their own knowledge. That's what I think.
Yes, excellent. I think so. And also, I totally agree with your opinion. And according to what we had studied, is in the traditional education, it was almost completely theoretical. So
Oh, change the session?
We are in small groups in order to share our opinions about the questions, the two questions.
Which
Uh,
question?
the first question is, how will you define traditional education?
Traditional education.
Yeah.
Well, I think of traditional education is the basic education here in El Salvador. For example, in the area school, the education is the basic. For example, always the teacher explain and the students writing in the notebook and repeat after me. And for me, this is a basic education here in El Salvador about English. And different subject uh, is depend this type of education. Yeah, I think so. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's correct or incorrect.
No, it's a good opinion.
Keep
I,
going.
I uh,
Keep going.
okay, thank you. I think that the traditional style in this thing, the teacher take the principal person in in the class, and the student pass to the second plan. And the wait,
No, do not worry. Mister, we have problem with that sort of that I think his her microphone doesn't work.
Who? Ada Sorto?
Yes,
Oh, I see. I see.
I
Yeah,
think you
there
should
are two
talk, but
students. There are two students. Well, probably she can, she can listen. So
and Rosalia is working right now, so we have a difficult time.
yeah,
por favor, es que estoy en el trabajo y me están cayendo muchas llamadas.
no worries, Rosa. Thanks for making the effort.
Keep going, Rosa.
Okay, so everybody's back now. I hope you have enjoyed the time for sharing with your classmates, it is always important to discuss and talk, to your classmates, so you get fresh ideas about you know, about the topic that you're discussing here. We were discussing two things, right? Traditional versus modern methods of teaching, right? Now, what happens? In the first one, in the traditional method of teaching, it's teacher monopoly, right? Limits the class activities, okay? In the traditional way, most of the time, the teacher was talking and talking and talking, and the teacher was always right. You could not say that the teacher was wrong because the teachers, they got offended. you know Now something about the modern methodology is that students participate more, you know and they explore different avenues of learning. So students in modern teaching method, students are, like more open-minded, like students are aware of technology. They are aware of those facilities, those tools that they can reach, and I think that education has become better with technology at some point. Okay, I'm not talking about abusing of technology. However, what is important is that if you need something, you can get it right away. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're looking for a word that you don't know, just go on the web and then find the word, the definition, the pronunciation, especially with the language. I don't know if you have noticed, but nowadays it's very, very easy to get a word and the meaning, how to use it, and all that, right? And that is progress. That is progress. Something that didn't happen in traditional education. Now we're gonna go deeper. So check this out. Here we have traditional. Here we have modern, right? These two pictures shows what's happening, right? Or what happened in some scenarios, right? In the first one, as you can see, the seating arrangement, that's important. Look at the seating arrangement, right? They are in a traditional way, right? Now, look at the face of the students. Look at their attitude. What happens? What do you think that happens in this class? Just to look at the picture, what happens in that class?
I think in the first image, the children is boring.
Okay.
Because in the traditional education, the actor is the teacher, not is the student.
Okay.
In the second image, I think the teacher is herramienta.
Well, if you want to say herramienta, would be tool. However, I think you are referring to guide, to a guide, como una guía. See?
Yeah.
Okay, a guide is a guide.
In the second image, the teacher is a guide for the children, and they will be do the in the best manner of the things.
Okay, great. Ada Sordo? Ada, hello?
She's having problem with her microphone.
With her microphone, yeah, because she had her hand up. Ada, if you want, you can use the chat, okay? If you have problems with the microphone, you can write in the chat your opinion and I can read it for you, no problem, okay? So, just in case. And then it's somebody else wants to give an opinion about the two pictures.
Hello.
Yes.
Well, the first picture, student seems with so much stress, bored, well, a boring class.
Okay.
So every student has I don't know, I'm not sure if it is a book or a notebook, but every student has one.
Yes.
And it's not an interactive class, so they are not motivated.
They're not.
As one picture, children and the teacher are doing the same thing with a different attitude,
Yeah.
and at the same time with different, for example, toys, color pencils. I don't know.
Yeah.
Lots of different materials that are to work with children.
Okay. Very good. Now, I mean, we can say thousands of things about these two images, right? In the first one, we see traditional, something traditional, right? Like this is common in public education and also in private. Like students go to classrooms and they either just writing down, listening to the teacher and not participating. Now, in the second picture, in this one, you see a lot of what? A lot of materials. You know, they are doing, they are participating, they are being part of the learning process, you know. And the teacher is relaxed, you know, he's smiling. Well, she's smiling, she's teaching, you know, she's doing with them, you know, she's guiding them. This is important because they are also they are motivated, you know. These kids look happy, you know, they look that they are part of something. And that's, you know, that's the big difference, you know. It's not about having a ton of knowledge in your brain, but also it's about creating a nice atmosphere. These guys are learning in a safe way, you know. In this other scenario, in this other picture, they are bored, they are, you know, they don't want to be there, they don't, because they're not part of the, you know, of the learning process. Um they're just there listening and listening, you know. And that's a problem, you know. That's a problem when this traditional thing becomes a habit. I'm not saying that working with the book it's incorrect. I'm not saying that writing is incorrect. However, there are many creative ways of doing things, you know. And we teachers, we have to be artists, you know. We have to create and find the way according to our students' needs. That should be our goal. But if you're studying this to be a teacher like this, like in the traditional area, I mean, I would recommend you to select another career. So let's move. We're gonna read a little bit and I'm gonna ask somebody to read this information. I'm gonna ask, let me see. I'm gonna ask Rosa. Rosa Diaz working probably is not a good idea. How about Walter Rios? Would you mind helping me, Walter?
Yes.
Okay.
Traditional teaching is an act of imparting instructions to the learner in the classroom situation. Modern concept is to cause the pupil to learn and acquire the desired knowledge, skill, and also desirable ways of living in the society. Thomas Greens. Teaching is the task of teacher which is performed for the development of a child. Rick Byrne. Teaching is a relationship which keeps the child to develop all his power.
Thank you very much. So in this part, in the traditional, we have this concept. It should be an act, no, a act. Sorry about that. So it's an act of imparting instructions to the learner in the class, in the classroom situation. Okay. So traditional teaching is basically just, you know, okay, I am the teacher, I'm here and I'm going to teach my class. And I start talking and talking. Okay, guys, we're gonna write an essay of 400 words about what I'm saying. You know, that's not teaching. So basically, teaching goes beyond that. You know, teaching is inspiring. You know, teaching is exploring. It's letting students think and maybe discuss. You know, why not? So that happens in a modern concept, right? It says that it is to cause the pupil to learn and acquire the desired knowledge, skill, and also desirable ways of living in society. So imagine if I am teaching you something that is not gonna be relevant for your life, then probably you wouldn't pay attention to what I'm saying. So if I am teaching you something that is meaningful, okay, and that word should be very important in your career, okay? Remember, the word meaningful should be in everything you do, okay? Every class, every activity should have a purpose, and that purpose should be meaningful. For example, right now, I am reading a concept and I am giving you my point of view. Now, your job is to get what I said and transform that knowledge, those words. You can take them or you can restructure them or you can improve them, okay? So you take those words and you transform them, okay? It's your job. And then you give your own concept, you build your own concept, you know, you have to acquire that, you know, you have to make it yours. And that's basically something meaningful, you know, what you do with the knowledge you have, okay? How are you going to use it, okay? What is it going to be useful for? Those questions are really important, so you should have them in your mind all the time. Now, this guy, Thomas Greens, he defined teaching. And teaching, he said that teaching is the task of teacher, which is performed for the development of a child. So when you feel down, when you feel sad, remember that you are in a big process. You know, you have or you are preparing yourself to have the best or the most important job in the world, okay? Why am I saying this? Because teachers, we form everybody, okay? Teachers form everybody. How is that? Well, doctors, engineers, English teachers, other kind of teachers, nurse, police officer, all of them go to school, right? So our job is extremely important because we're forming people, you know? That's why you have to be proud of this career. And that's why you have to be proud of yourself, okay? Because you are an important piece in this big machine that is life, okay? Please remember that part. Now, we have this traditional method, right? We have some theory about that. Now I'm gonna ask, let me see. Elena Maya, would you mind helping me with the reading?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Traditional teaching, the back to basic traditional education method, also known as conventional education, is still widely used in school. The old-fashioned way of teaching was all about recitation. For example, students will sit in silence while one student after another will take in turn to recite the lesson until each one had been called upon.
Thanks a lot. So as you can see in the picture, right? In this method, the teacher, he was just there, right? Like he was the center of the class. And when participating, students, they had to take one turn at the time, and they were just reading the lesson, you know, part of the lesson. Something that was not a part of this teaching style or this teaching method, it was that students were not invited to reflect. They were not invited to ask many questions, you know. Teachers, they were always right and they could not be corrected, you know. They felt offended. And that's something that is not happening in modern teaching and in modern teaching methods, you know. Nowadays, we all know, we all are aware about things, about technology, and we cannot lie to people, you know. Like, I mean, there's not something wrong when you don't know something. You just have to be brave enough to say that you don't know. It's not a sin, you know what I'm saying? So you as a teacher in the future, if a student asks you a question and you don't know the answer, please don't feel intimidated. Okay, be honest and tell the student, well, you know what, I never thought about it, and I don't know, you know, that's normal, but I will research, I will look for that information, and I'll let you know. And that's fantastic, you know. It's not a sin to admit that you don't know something. Remember that you're not a walking dictionary, okay? You're not Wikipedia, you're not Google. So that is part of the learning. Now, in this traditional method, the things were not that simple, okay? Like teachers were there, they knew everything. And, you know, as you can see, look at the seating arrangement. They were very, very square. So, guys, our time is over. I'm going to finish this video call right now, and I want you to join the video call again, okay? So I'll see you in 30 seconds.
Okay.
Okay.